Welcome back to Let's Talk Careers. I'm so excited to bring another incredible guest. Today we are meeting with Stefania Brunori, who is a personal brand and content marketing expert and a well-being entrepreneur. Welcome, Stefania.
Thank you, Maria. It's a pleasure for me to be with you.
It's so exciting to be here with you. I mean, we're living in the world of entrepreneurship, and to hear about all these incredible things that you do, and you are just really working it. And I'm so excited to bring your career journey to the youth. Before we jump into what you're doing now and how you help the community, I want to take you back in time to when you were in high school. Do you remember being a student, being asked, Stefania, what are you going to do? What do you want to be? How did you find your way through that time period?
Well, first of all, it's so nice to feel young again, going back to those years. The funny thing is I was not conscious on what I wanted to do, but some other people had a very clear idea of what I was good at, but funny enough, it's not what I liked. So I remember, I think it was the person in charge of the psychology department at the school saying, she's got all the skills to work as a bank director. And some other people saying, yeah, she should work in finances. And to be honest, I was zero interested. I didn't know yet what I wanted to do, but I knew that that was not resonating at all with me. I was like, okay, whatever. So what I know is that I was having fun with creative things. And I was more a person into science and creative arts. And then I was participating in all the activities that were related to acting and singing on a stage. So without rationalizing too much, I was doing those things for fun.
And that's interesting that you say that. So we're going to go back to your education, kind of take you on that little journey. You have done an interior design course in the University of the Arts London. You also did yoga training as a teacher.
Yes.
You did a degree in business administration and management and marketing, and you are a qualified coach from the Coaches Training Institute. And then you did a top graduate in design, graphic, textile, furniture, and interior design. And you did a bachelor's degree in business admin, marketing, and economics. Stefania, I mean, I'm looking at this as a careers practitioner. I'm thinking so much knowledge. You definitely are an advocate of lifelong learning. I can see that. But for a young person looking at what you do right now and trying to kind of connect the dots for themselves, of all the learning you did, tell us the thought process behind every academic choice you made, and then maybe make it make sense for who you are today and what you're doing.
Yes, definitely. It makes sense now. I didn't know at that time. So my first career, it was a business degree in business administration. A bachelor's degree in business administration. And I did that just because it was a career that would have many opportunities. On the list, when I chose that career, I also had architecture and arts. But I was not a bohemian spirit to go to the arts side. And I was a bit doubtful about the architecture. So finally, I did the business degree. To be honest, I completed my degree, but I didn't feel any passion towards that. But the thing is that it opened doors for the first job that was really well paid. We can talk about that later. So the first was more a rational decision on something that is going to give me many opportunities. Then, of course, like we say in Spanish, I translate into English, the goat always tries to go to the mountain. So after a few years being on my career, I started working in marketing. I started this kind of master's degree in design, which was totally my passion. And I could feel the difference between studying something that it's okay with something that is really your passion. So I had a lot of fun. And that helped me a lot in terms of marketing in my career with the visuals. Having a higher standards when I had to direct a marketing campaign, being more knowledgeable on that side, and also in product development. Then when I came to Dubai, funny, I started coaching because I wanted to connect with more like-minded people. So there was not a career purpose behind. It was like, I want to be in touch with different type of people. And that helped me a lot when it comes to work with teams on bringing the best out of everyone. Of course, knowing more about myself and then learning more, which is the type of environment that I need for my career, which is the type of boss that I want to have, which are my values, which are the values that I look in a job. So it was almost a self-transformation process, studying coaching. And then the last part, which was yoga and meditation, definitely this has been key for my career since the moment. I mean, I had already started practicing many years ago, so I've been practicing for 18 years, but this was bringing together all the knowledge on yoga and meditation, and definitely this has been my my safety stone for the last 15 years in my career. So with all the turbulence and all the changes, yoga and meditation, it always keeps me grounded, and I've used it as well when I do business coaching with entrepreneurs.
That is so interesting. I love how you're mixing it all up. And I think whenever I speak with young people, they're really concerned and they almost have this impression that it has to be one thing and it has to make sense and it has to be easy to sell to their parents. And this idea of, let's try to keep it as simple as possible. But listening to how you're merging all of these experiences together, it sounds to me like pieces fell into the right places. And now, like you said, they're making more sense. But I know that you didn't just study. You've done a variety of different things based on experiences. You've also done volunteering.
Mm-hmm.
For a young person, they're thinking, I don't have time for volunteering. I'll do it if I can put it on my university application, but otherwise I have to study. Why did you do volunteering when you were already a very busy person? What was the thinking process behind wanting to help the community in these volunteer positions?
I think it's important to keep something that is selfless. If at the end of the day, really doing volunteering is selfless, which is not somehow because you are doing something for yourself as well. But what I mean is something that you don't have the pressure of the qualifications, something that you don't have the pressure of KPIs, something that it doesn't expect an outcome, rather than giving and supporting with your skills, your time, your money, whatever it is the volunteering that you are doing, supporting people that are more in need than you. And remember that life is not only what you see on your daily life, but there are many other things happening in the world. So I think this keeps you grounded and realistic with what is going on in some other areas. At the same time, that is not outcome based. For me, it's never been a matter of really doing it so then I can use it for something else. No, it's like I remove all my roles, the marketer, the table moderator, the whatever it is, and then I just go there as a person. So I remove name, surname. Is this process of really removing anything that is not your essence? Because the people who are in need, they don't need any of your roles. They just need a hand that is helping them, whatever is the way that you are helping.
And that sounds to me like these volunteer positions really help you build those soft skills: communication, team building, self-management, self-discipline. Would you say that they were things that you already had and brought to volunteering, or do you think that volunteering made you understand how important those soft skills really were?
Yes, there were some skills that were a kind of a reminder, because I started volunteering when I was already senior in my career. So it was a good humility lesson, again, to go back to do volunteering where it doesn't matter your seniority, it doesn't matter who you are there to serve others and to put a plate of food on the table. So definitely that part got developed more, and there was this component, yes, of being part of a team, doing something together, without being more than anyone else or without being the leader of anyone else, but just as a whole. So obviously that helps, and especially because there is no any objective behind. So the team is the team, and that's what you are doing. It is the support that you are giving to others.
Now, let's look at your experiences. I want you to kind of compare some of these experiences, because there's a plethora of different types of experiences, from international marketing to sales and marketing to marketing and HR. And how do you mix it up? Take us through how the skill of marketing can merge into sales and how it can merge into international work. And definitely, how does it fit in with HR, human resource management? Almost sounds like a completely different field, but you did both.
So my first job was in banking. So I was in a bank office front desk. And that definitely built the skills of selling, and also gave me the first really clear sign that was not for me. To do something without creativity. But I acquired those skills of selling, understanding, initiating the conversations, and listening to the customer, which is a skill that is really worth for sales and marketing, for both. Then in my next role, which was setting up a marketing department, what they realized after a while is that with the transformation that we were going with the brand, we needed to make sure that the people that we were hiring were going to be 100% connected with the brand values. And this is when, for a while, I was into the HR as well, as part of the marketing role. They blended it. And then the roles have been more purely marketing. In a ceramic tiles company, it was marketing and product development. So then is when the creativity was at the highest. But I remember at that time taking a training on sales. Why? Because I still needed to sell my marketing and my product design inside the sales team. So then I started learning about goal setting and mindset. That was the first time that I was in touch with a coach. The training was delivered by an NLP trainer. And it's funny because I was the only person who was not coming from the sales department. So I was kind of weird. What is this person in marketing doing here in this training? But that was crucial, really, to start listening more and knowing how to sell anything inside a company, because regardless which is your position inside a company, there is one moment that you are going to need to sell to your boss, whatever is your idea. So yes, that was how definitely it went together. And then I came to the UAE. The roles again were more into marketing, but there was always a component of business development as well, on presentation of products and projects to the people who are going to decide, to the key decision makers. And for me, sales and marketing are super connected, because you need to listen to the customer. You cannot be a good marketing professional if you don't have your empathy skills developed, if you don't listen to the customer rather than speaking more. And this is different ways of doing it. The salesperson wants to close a contract. Marketing is the one that opens the door. But to open the door, you need to know what clicks as well with the customer. So for me, both are very, very connected. So that's still the corporate life. And then it came the entrepreneurial side, which is like a new life.
Totally a new life. And I love that you described it that way. So let's open up that door, because young people more and more are aspiring to be entrepreneurs. And in fact, when you look at some of the research, it's showing that governments are even encouraging more entrepreneurship among young people for a variety of different reasons. What's it really like to be an entrepreneur in the 21st century?
Do we want to convince people, or do we want them to run away? Well, being an entrepreneur, I guess it has, I always say in the master classes that I do about entrepreneurship is, if you are today in this master class because you don't like your boss, I have really bad news for you, because you are going to be your worst boss ever. So it gives you freedom, of course, or more than freedom, it gives you flexibility, but of course, it's not an easy path. Would I change it? No. I mean, I'm happy being an entrepreneur, but there are certain skills that you need. And I think the risk nowadays with social media is that people may think that being an entrepreneur is easy, and it means that you're always working from Thailand and you don't have struggles. And that's not the reality. It has many positive things, but it's also a kind of not a straight line. You have moments when you want to give up, and then you remind why you became an entrepreneur, why you became an entrepreneur, and then you get excited again and you reinvent a bit. So the path, I think that there have never been so many opportunities as there are now. So I think that's why the companies are struggling, because it's not going to be easy to get talent. You need to offer something to these people that already can make a living outside without having a boss. So you need to offer flexibility as well as a company. So I also don't think that entrepreneurial journey is for everyone, but I think it's worth exploring. If someone is curious, especially at the beginning, you can try and see if that is for you or not. I think that sometimes we want to be too clear too early. And to be honest, when you are in your 20s, you have so much time in front of you to test things without high risks. You still don't have a mortgage, probably you still don't have a family. So why not testing the waters of the entrepreneurial career?
We could talk about this for a really long time. I'm so conscious of our time here. But talk to us more about your role as a brand strategist and digital and social media expert. It is definitely a booming occupation. Definitely, we see it more and more and more. Companies are relying on professionals like you to really build their brand, to help people understand about their products, their services. It's such a competitive field. And also what I come across is everybody thinks that they're a brand strategist. So how do you stand out, and what are some of the tips that you can offer a young person thinking about venturing out, either as an entrepreneur or even taking on a role in an organization?
Yeah. Well, when it comes to strategy, I think is something that comes more with the years, because it's a skill in which you are connecting different parts. So I wouldn't jump straight away, if I was young, into something so specialized on a strategy, because even clients would probably question that a bit. You need a bit of experience in terms of a strategy. When it comes to digital marketing or social media or your entrepreneurial career, in order to differentiate, when I work with my clients, I always ask them to look at the trends in the market. This is really important, because it doesn't matter if there is an opportunity today, you need to keep always one eye in the future and see how you're building something, although we don't know what is going to happen tomorrow and everything is changing really fast. You need to keep an eye, understanding where the trends are going. And it doesn't matter almost in the sectors that you are, you will know that there is one part probably that you are going to need. Maybe if you are working now in fashion, you can keep an eye on the metaverse and see what is going to happen if they are going to be needed virtual outfits for the metaverse, such an example. And this is how you are going to differentiate yourself. So finding this niche, not only now, but that is going to help you differentiate. This is one. And the second is going back to your values and those things in which you are really good. Because even if we are talking about the metaverse and many other things that are virtual, at the end of the day, we are humans. And this can be the key element that makes a client click with you and not with someone else. So I would say a mix of both. Understanding the trends and going back to what makes you unique, communicate very clearly what makes you unique. And if you are not good at something and you are never going to be standing out, why bother trying to imitate someone? It's more powerful that you build on top of those things that you are really good at.
For sure. I love this. I love this. Stefania, if you could come up with 3 top tips for a young person beginning their career journey, what would they be?
Wow, that's not an easy one. The first one probably would be to explore. Explore, taking a 1 year, going to different places, even different parts of the world, seeing different realities. And maybe even when you are still studying, doing internships, so you can test the waters of different type of organizations, different types of roles, right? So number 1, test, try, explore, experiment. Number 2, I would say come back to who you are and what you like doing, because sooner or later, this is going to start popping up. This part that I have, for example, for public speaking, I was doing theater when I was 4 years old. And probably that's why I like doing it, because it's not the first time that I've been on a stage. And I like the part of dressing and playing different roles. That was fun. So coming back to the things that you like is important, and try to see how you could incorporate this. And number 3, I think you were mentioning it already at the beginning, which is constant learning. Times have changed. This is not like my parents' generation, where the same person would be in the same role for 30 years. Companies are changing, work market is changing, the environment is changing, and getting different skill sets, it's important. And also, it's going to boost different parts of your brain. It's going to make you learn faster, and will give you more opportunities in your career.
I love that. Great tips. Amazing tips. Stefania, it's been such a pleasure speaking with you. And how can we find you if we're a young person looking at gaining experiences, or if we want to be working with you as a brand strategist, or even learning from you as a well-being coach and expert? How can we reach you?
So I am across all social media, or mostly all, on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. You can find me with my full name, Stefania Brunori Official. I'm on LinkedIn as well under Stefania Brunori, on YouTube as well. Website www.stefaniabrunori.com. And yes, and I'm going to launch something soon related to the world of well-being. So stay tuned in still my channels, because it will be announced through them.
Amazing, amazing. An entrepreneur at the core, always thinking about the next best thing. And this is what I love about being an entrepreneur, is you're able to be really, really creative, but remembering that it's not just about creating for the sake of creating. It's always with a purpose and a very clear focus. Thank you for being with me here today, Stefania. And I can't wait to bring you to the UAE Careers community as well. We know that's coming up very, very soon. And that brings us right to the end of another incredible conversation. Today, we met with Stefania Brunori, who is a personal brand and content marketing expert and a well-being entrepreneur. She's an incredible role model. Definitely want to be reaching out, and I can't wait to hear about your new updates. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and I will see you at our next Let's Talk Careers with Miss V.